Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Joseph Murphy. There was a man who was blaming heredity and diet for his colitis, a chronic digestive disease. I told him about the late Dr. Flanders Dunbar, a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and a great authority in psychosomatic medicine. Dr. Dunbar also held degrees in religion, which she completed because she had discovered that many people became sick due to false religious beliefs. I pointed out to this man that Dr. Dunbar said that a number of colitis cases in New York hospitals were due to the fact that the men were tied to their mothers. They had never been away from their mothers for more than 30 days in their whole lives. None of these men was married, and the onset of their colitis was associated with a conflict between the mother tie and the desire for marriage. This man had a similar conflict, plus a deep-seated resentment towards his mother. She seemed to criticize and find fault with every girl he brought to their house as a prospective bride. His colitis had nothing to do with heredity and nothing to do with diet. I found that he was deeply in love with a spiritually minded young woman, but hesitated to marry her lest he offend and disturb his mother. His eventual solution was simple. He came to a decision to marry. He bought a home for his bride. He broke the umbilical cord once and for all. He radiated love and goodwill to his mother and wished for her all the blessings of heaven. He informed her that his wife now came first in his life. His ulcerated colitis cleared up miraculously in a few weeks. He had been deceiving himself for several years, failing to see that the cause of his sickness was purely emotional and was due to the poison pocket of resentment in the crevices of his soul. This man did not deliberately give himself colitis. His struggle came from the accumulation of his negative and destructive thinking. The subconscious mind is the law. It arranges all the deposited thoughts into a complex pattern. These constantly fed subconscious patterns are not only the cause of all our ills, but also the cause of all our successes and triumphant achievements. The great lie is that the average person is constantly attributing causation outside of themselves. They blame conditions, the environment, circumstances, and even God for their ailments. But all these difficulties are caused by mental patterns and beliefs lodged in their subconscious mind. The great lie, in essence, is the belief in material causation. You will constantly hear people claim that material circumstances are the source of their difficulties, trials, and tribulations. However, it is not the thing believed in, it is the belief itself. For example, if you believe that visiting a shrine will grant you your wishes, it isn't the shrine, it is your belief that brings you results. If you think you will receive a healing by bathing in a certain water, it isn't the water, it is your belief. If you analyze the water, it is the same water as in your own home. It is the belief, not the thing believed in. So, according to your belief, live in the state of being, be alive to something and accept something as true. Whether the object of your faith is true or false, you will get results. Some people believe if they touch the bone of a saint, they will receive a healing. However, if the saint's bone were replaced with a dog's bone, they would still get results because of their belief. You can call it blind belief. It is a belief in a subconscious response. That is a simple law of life. Why people do not understand that today is beyond my imagination. So you constantly hear people say that circumstances, conditions, and other people are the source of their problems. This is a lie of major importance. It must be utterly and completely refuted. While talking with a woman some years ago, I learned that her mother had a serious illness. She said that she was a splendid Christian, even though most people don't know what that word means. She said that she was kind-hearted, religious, and most generous, and why didn't God do something to heal her? Such a question perfectly illustrates the great lie that affects many people. The law of life is the law of belief. We demonstrate what we believe. You can believe a lie too, you know. Whatever we sow in our subconscious mind, we shall reap. If we sow thoughts of sickness, fear, resentment, and enmity, we shall reap these things. To show a thought, biblically speaking, means to accept it wholeheartedly. It is our deep-seated beliefs that we demonstrate. In other words, we demonstrate what we really believe in our hearts. This woman and her mother were completely deceived in that both of them believed that sickness was independent of the mind. That is the great lie that Quimby was talking about. The great lie that the whole world believes in, that sickness is out there somewhere, something people catch. That is too stupid for words. Her mother had a bad heart condition and believed that she could not be cured. That was her real belief, and so naturally she could not get a healing. There are no incurable diseases, there are only incurable people. There are those who believe they cannot be healed, and according to their belief it is done unto them. The woman's mother made excellent progress as she learned the law of life. She ceased to be under the spell of the great lie that her heart was a material object with laws of its own, independent of her thinking. She learnt to believe that her body was subject to her thoughts and feelings. As she changed her mind, she changed her body, and she no longer suffered from a bad heart. She began to pray regularly and systematically, knowing that an infinite healing presence was flowing through her as the beauty of wholeness, vitality, and strength. She understood that God's love dwelled in her mind and body. She realized that sickness had no power beyond what she gave it in her own thought, and she found herself healed. When trouble of any kind comes, look upon it as nature's signal that you are thinking wrongly in that direction, then change your thought and keep it changed. The expression, "What have I done to deserve this?" was asked of me recently by a young man. He continued by saying, "I have never done anything wrong." The explanation is the cure, as Quimby said in 1847. So I proceeded to point out to this young man that all our experiences are the results of our subconscious beliefs and assumptions. No matter what happens in your life, it is simply an outpouring of the subconscious mind, out of the heart of the issues of life. The heart means your subconscious mind in Hebrew symbolism. All conditions and events that you experience are a mathematical reproduction of your subconscious patterns, beliefs, and conditioning. In other words, all the experiences, conditions, and events of our lives are the result of the totality of our beliefs. Moreover, all of us have many beliefs and ideas which we have long since forgotten, perhaps going back to childhood, hidden in the deeper recesses of our subconscious minds. All our beliefs and tendencies with which we were born are still with us, and they have the power to manifest and influence our lives. For example, if you believe that sitting near a fan will give you a stiff neck, your subconscious mind will see to it that you get a stiff neck. Not because of the fan, which represents innocuous molecules of energy oscillating at a higher frequency, but because of your erroneous beliefs. I have seen people in India working under a fan all day, and it has no effect whatsoever upon them. The fan is harmless. Surely you do not believe a fan can give you a stiff neck. It is simply molecules moving in space. Likewise, if you are afraid that you will catch a cold because someone in your office sneezes, your fear is simply a movement of your own mind, which creates what you expect, fear, and believe. When the virus comes around, there are many men and women in your office and your factory that never get it. That is because they do not believe in sickness, they believe in health. If you happen to be in a warm room and you go out into the cool atmosphere, nature may cause you to sneeze. That is nature's way of bringing about a balance, an equilibrium in your body. The sneeze is a blessing, it is a benediction. Many people, however, fear that they are now catching a cold, not knowing that it is the creative power of their own thought that causes the cold. Now, back to the young man who wondered what he had done to deserve such trouble. He confessed to me that he had bought an astrology magazine that morning. The magazine claimed that there was great danger of an automobile accident, and he should be very careful. He said that he was charged with fear and shook all over when he read it. He did not want to drive that day, but he had to go for an audition which was very important, and the only way was by car. He had 3 accidents that same day, seriously injuring another man. He was suffering from shock himself and also received some contusions and lacerations, and his car was badly damaged. Job said, "What I greatly feared has come upon me." This man's accidents had nothing to do with the stars. They are simply molecules moving in space like our Earth. There is nothing evil in this universe. God pronounced everything good and very good. Why should we have the effrontery, the audacity, and the impertinence to pronounce certain things evil when God pronounced them good and very good? There is nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. The young man's great fear brought on these accidents. Thoughts that are emotionalized are dramatized into experience by the subconscious mind. His subconscious mind took his great fear as a request and manifested it on the screen of space. I suggested that he use the prayer regularly and systematically until it became a part of him, just like an apple becomes a part of your bloodstream. The same way you learn to walk, swim, dance, play the piano and type. You repeat a thought pattern again and again, and after a while it is second nature and an automatic response of your deeper mind. That is prayer. Likewise, in order for your world to change, you have to change your mind. You cannot go on thinking the same old way. In order to begin thinking in a new way, you have to get some new ideas. You have to find out about the laws of mind. You have to get a read on your new thinking. Then you begin to think on whatsoever things are true, lovely, noble, and godlike. You realize that your thoughts are creative. Whatever you impress on the subconscious, good or bad, is expressed. Therefore, you begin to have a healthy, reverent, wholesome respect for your thoughts. This is the prayer the man began to affirm. This is God's car. It moves from point to point freely, joyously, and lovingly. God's wisdom guides this car in all its ways. God's order, symmetry, and beauty govern the mechanisms of this car at all times. God's holy presence blesses this car and all its occupants. The driver of this car is an ambassador of God. He is full of love and goodwill to all. God's peace, truth, and understanding always govern the driver. God directs all decisions, making straight, beautiful, and perfect the way. The Spirit of God is upon the driver, making all roads a highway for his good. There are many people that blame the weather for their cold, aches, pains, depression, and melancholy. They also blame others and say, "He is blocking my good. If it were not for him, I would be promoted." This is making a god of another person, which is a big lie. There is only one God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God. Jealous in the sense that you must not know another, because then your mind is double-minded and unstable. It is akin to simultaneously pressing the up and down buttons in an elevator. The universe does not know what you believe in. There is only one power, so you do not put another person on a pedestal and say, "You are a new God I've got to worship. You are blocking my good." Now, how on earth can you make any sense out of that? There is only one being, and it is the infinite presence and power within you. There is nothing to oppose that. It is omnipotent. It created the world. No one can oppose it. It is all-powerful. Therefore, if you want a promotion, you say to yourself, "Infinite Spirit opens up a new door for me when I express myself at the highest level and when I exercise my faculties to the highest degree. I have a marvelous and wonderful income consistent with integrity and honesty. Promotion is mine." Then you realize the power of the Almighty is backing you up. You go to the source. Stop believing in that big lie. The air is harmless. Stop polluting the atmosphere with strange notions, false doctrines, and weird beliefs. People talk about pollution, but you never hear them talk about the pollution of the mind with resentment, hostility, anger, and hate. You must learn the great truth that no person, condition, or situation causes you to be ill, unhappy, lonesome, or suffer from pecuniary embarrassment. There is no use blaming someone else because there is no one else to blame at all. The beliefs and impressions made in your subconscious mind cause all the experiences and events of your life. Someone can call you a skunk, but are you going to get angry and upset? How about you say, "God's sister, brother, you have no power to disturb me today. God's peace fills your soul." Or you can say to yourself, "God loves me and cares for me," and go on about your business. Now, do not tell me any person has the power to disturb you. If so, you are suffering from the great lie. It is the biggest lie of all time. The suggestions and statements of others have no power to disturb you. You know that very well. You can curse or bless. It is the movement of your own mind, and there is no law preventing you from saying, "God loves me and cares for me." You neutralize that negative or angry thought and make constructive energy out of it. You must learn the great truth. No person, situation, or condition has any power to disturb you. Billions are suffering from the great lie because they are self-hypnotized by an accumulation of false ideas, beliefs, and opinions. Your subconscious mind acts as law to manifest and portray the accumulated patterns which are dwelling in your deeper mind. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is pushed from behind, as Emerson said. Psychiatrists, psychologists, and medical doctors delving and probing into your deeper mind have demonstrated that you are not aware of these inner patterns, not having placed them there knowingly. Many people assume that they do not have them, and then they establish alibis and excuses of all kinds to justify themselves. Quimby proved 100 years ago that the body moves as moved upon, the body acts as acted upon. It has no volition, no self-conscious intelligence, no activity of itself. The body does not catch disease, that's insanity. The body is characterized by inertia, waves of light, molecules, moving at tremendous speed. You can play in your body a melody of God or a hymn of hate. The body does not care. The body is an emotional disc upon which you play your emotions. If you sever a part of your body, it cannot suffer from disease. Therefore you know very well that all disease takes place in the mind, and disease is lack of ease, lack of poise, and lack of peace. What we sow, we shall surely reap. There is only one power, that is the spirit within you. You can call it consciousness, which is the way you think, feel, and believe. Whatever you give mental consent to, this will manifest. There is no other power or substance in the universe. I gave this man a prayer to use and elaborated on the point that if he filled his mind with these great truths, his subconscious mind would accept them accordingly. In the future, he would be under a subconscious compulsion to drive harmoniously and peacefully, and nothing would ever happen to him again. That is why you read in the Bible, "Go in peace, thy faith has made thee whole." Why? In peace? Because their minds were in turmoil, in 6s and 7s. They were emotionally disturbed, overwrought, maybe jealous, envious, hateful, whatever it might be, but they had no peace of mind. If they had peace of mind, they could not be sick. Don't you know this? It is impossible to have a healthy mind and a sick body. Mens sana in corpore sano. A healthy mind, a healthy body. Very simple, isn't it? Very simple. The great lie operates from many angles. There are those that blame the devil for their problems, but there is no such being. The Hebrews called the devil the eye. Ayin, because the eye deceives you. They also called it laughter, mirth, because there is no such being. They said the devil is God upside down. The morbid, twisted, distorted concept that people have of a God of love. There is only one power. There cannot be 2 or 3 or 1,000, just one. That's the greatest of all truths. If you spell evil backwards, you have live. If you are living life backwards, that is your evil or your devil. In Hebrew, Satan in the book of Job is Sata, which means to slip, to err, to deviate from the truth. Surely that is your devil, isn't it, when you deviate from the truth? When you misuse the law, it is a misunderstanding and misinterpretation of life. Wherever universal presence and power diversifies itself, it limits itself. So your misunderstanding is the only devil. Like Buddha, you could also call it ignorance. So, it means living life backwards. The ancient Hebrew mystics said that the devil is one who lies about God, about the infinite. God and evil are simply the movements of your mind relative to the living spirit within you, which is God. The forces of nature are not evil. It depends entirely on the use we make of the elements of nature and the forces within us, whether we have a constructive or a negative reaction. The great lie is to enthrone the idea in your mind that things, conditions and phenomenon are determining your suffering and misfortune. It is the biggest lie of all time. There is no one to change but yourself. You are your own savior. To think that some man is going to save you is the biggest lie in the world. The Bible tells you point blank, I rejoice in God my Savior, and there's only one God. There can't be two gods or two powers. That's impossible, spiritually, mentally, or any other way. I said, ye are gods and all sons of the Most High. Everybody is a son of God. We are all expressions of the one being, the one progenitor. So stop giving power to people, conditions, and events. A banker once said to me that members of his staff were sick with a viral infection and he was afraid of catching it. He wanted to know how to protect himself. I replied by telling him that he was afraid of an invisible virus which he could not see. It had no power over him. I pointed out that he was suggesting to himself that he might be liable to the infection. I told him that the suggestions and statements of others had no power to create. They do not. The power is in you, the movement of your own thought. Choose ye this day whom you shall serve. Hold before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the law, a curse if you disobey. Suggestions from others are powerless. I told him to reject the suggestion of infection completely, that the creative action is always his own thought and feeling. I also pointed out that nothing can happen to him except through the creative power of his own mind, that others therefore had no power. I and my Father are one. I live, know, and have my being in God. God lives, moves, and has his being in me. God cannot get sick. The Spirit was never hurt or wounded. What is true of God is true of me. God cannot be sick, therefore I cannot be sick. I am all health. God is my health. Health is mine. Joy is mine. Peace is mine. I feel wonderful. You can rest assured he had no flu. You are in charge of your own mind, and you have the wonderful opportunity to affirm that God's peace and love fill your heart, mind, and whole being. The power is always in you, not in the other. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. I am the Lord, that is my name. My glory you shall not give to another, neither shall you give my praise. I am the Lord, and from the rising of the sun to the setting of the same, there is none else. When you say, I am, you are announcing the presence and power of God within yourself, the pure being and awareness of life. That is the only presence, power, cause, and substance. The big lie is to give your power away to a person, place, thing, germ, circumstance, or condition. By doing this, you are no longer loving the one, the beautiful, and the good. Cease giving power and prerogatives to people, conditions and events which have no power. Cease looking upon matter and the world as evil. Spirit and matter are one. Matter is the lowest degree of spirit, and spirit is the highest degree of matter. Matter and invisible energy are one. Scientists inform us that energy and matter are interchangeable. Energy and matter are one. This is why thoughts are things. Let us have a wonderful prayer. Prayer changes things and changes the person who prays. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? This one verse of the 27th Psalm gives you personal freedom from all fear. It reveals to you the source of all power, strength, and wisdom. It enables you to reject the power of externals, takes the burden off your shoulders, and sets you on the high road to peace of mind, health, and happiness. The Lord is the presence of God, the I Am within you. The Lord is your own consciousness, your own awareness, and your own life principle. It is your state of consciousness, the way you think, feel, and what you believe, and the reasoning behind your belief. God in the midst of you is guiding you now as peace fills your soul. God saturates your whole being. I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am Lord thy God, I will come and heal thee. God be with you. Thank you for listening to Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life by Dr. Joseph Murphy. If you have enjoyed this presentation, please like and subscribe and leave a comment letting us know what has made an impression on you today. Thank you very much.